Prologue. In the beginning there was nothing. No mountains, no rivers, no skies, no seas. Only a vast swirling void, endless, heavy, and silent. From within that darkness, a colossal figure stirred. His name was Pangu, the first being. With his mighty hands, he split the heavens from the earth. The sky rose above, bright and wide, while the ground pressed below, deep and firm. Each day, Pangu grew taller, pushing the heavens higher, until the world was vast enough to breathe life. But the birth of creation stirred another power, the spirit of chaos, Hundun. Hundun was not a creature of form but of storming confusion. He was all noise and nothingness, all rage without shape. Where Pangu sought harmony, Hundun desired ruin. He wished for the world to collapse back into the void. And yet, in the heart of this newborn world, a boy was born. Not of gods, not of demons, but of wonder itself. His name was Liang. He was the first mortal witness to creation, a youth with curious eyes and a restless spirit. This is his story. Chapter 1: The Awakening. Liang opened his eyes to light. It was soft at first, like dawn seeping through mist. He lay upon warm earth, grass rising gently around him. Above stretched a sky of colors he had no words for: crimson, gold, and endless azure. "Where am I?" Liang whispered. The land answered in silence, except for the rush of a newborn river beside him. Its water was clear, running wild and free, as though racing to carve its place in the world. He dipped his hand into the stream. It was cold, alive, and it laughed as it flowed past. All around him, the earth trembled and shifted. Mountains rose from the ground in slow, rumbling power. Great ridges of stone climbed toward the heavens, their peaks still glowing with the heat of their birth. Liang staggered to his feet, awe filling his chest. Then came the roar. It was deep, ancient, and terrifying. The skies darkened as shadows coiled above the forming mountains. From the clouds, enormous shapes spiraled downward, scales glinting, wings beating like thunder. "Dragons!" Liang breathed. 3 of them descended, each vast as a mountain. One golden, one jade green, and one deep as midnight. Their serpentine bodies curled through the sky, their eyes blazing with intelligence and power. The golden dragon lowered its head, gazing at Liang. "You are the witness," it spoke, its voice echoing like 1,000 bells. Liang's heart pounded. "Witness to what?" "To the birth of this world," said the jade dragon. "You are mortal, yet fate binds you to the shaping of rivers and mountains." The midnight dragon hissed, its voice colder. "But beware, where there is creation, there is also chaos. He is coming." The air cracked with thunder. From the distance, the shadows churned violently, and a shape emerged. Not one, not many. A swirling, writhing storm of eyes, mouths, and smoke. Hundun. Chapter 2: The Face of Chaos. Liang stumbled backward as the void creature drew near. Hundun had no fixed form. Sometimes he seemed a monstrous beast with countless claws, sometimes a storm cloud filled with screaming faces. The very ground quaked beneath his approach. Rivers boiled, mountains crumbled, and the dragons coiled protectively around Liang. So, Hundun's voice was many voices at once, harsh and broken. "The world dares to be born. I will unmake it." The golden dragon reared high, flames bursting from its maw. "This world belongs to balance and light. You will not consume it, Hundun." Hundun only laughed, a horrible sound. Balance? Light? Illusions. All things must fall into the void. The jade dragon turned its great head toward Liang. "Witness, the choice is yours. Creation cannot stand without those who believe in it. Will you stand with us?" Liang's hands trembled. He was just a boy, barefoot, unarmed. Yet something stirred within him, a spark. He remembered the warmth of the earth beneath him, the song of the river, the sight of the newborn sky. "Yes," he said, voice steadying. "I will fight." Hundun's countless eyes turned toward him. "A mortal? Against me? You are nothing." The midnight dragon lowered its claw, placing before Liang a shard of glowing stone. Take this. It is the heart of the mountain. With it, you may channel the strength of the earth itself. Liang reached for it. The stone pulsed in his palm, filling him with warmth, as though the breath of Pangu still lingered inside it. Hundun screamed, lashing forward with a storm of claws and smoke. The dragons leapt to meet him, roaring as flame and lightning lit the sky. Chapter 3: The First Battle. The heavens split open with fury. The golden dragon soared upward, fire spilling from its jaws to scorch Hundun's twisting form. The jade dragon coiled around the chaos, binding him with its serpentine body, while the midnight dragon struck with bolts of storm. Liang clutched the heart of the mountain, feeling its power surge through him. He slammed it into the ground, and from the earth erupted a wall of stone, the first cliff, rising tall to block Hundun's advance. Good! The golden dragon thundered. Shape the land, boy! Give the world form, and chaos will weaken. Hundun roared, slashing through mountains, tearing rivers apart. His claws split valleys, his screams shook the sky. Yet wherever he struck, Liang forced the heart of the mountain into the soil, raising new peaks, guiding waters, giving shape to the chaos. A river, wild and fierce, cut across Hundun's path, surging with unstoppable force. Mountains rose like shields, guarding the newborn earth. Still, Hundun raged. He split into many forms: wolves of shadow, serpents of smoke, armies of faceless warriors. The dragons fought fiercely, but even their might strained under his endless power. At last, Hundun's gaze fell on Liang again. You, the demon snarled, are the flaw. You are mortal. Break you and the world falls. With a scream, Hundun hurled himself at the boy. Liang gritted his teeth, clutching the heart of the mountain. If I fall, then let me fall as the world rises. He struck the stone to the ground. The earth exploded with light. Chapter 4: The Shattered Sky. The ground blazed with light as Liang struck the heart of the mountain into the earth. A tower of stone erupted upward, splitting Hundun's charge. The demon's twisted form crashed into it, scattering shards of rock across the land. Liang fell to his knees, gasping for air. His hands burned from the energy pulsing through the stone, but he did not let go. Above, the dragons pressed the attack. Do not falter, roared the golden dragon, wings sweeping wide. Every breath you take gives shape to the world. The jade dragon coiled higher, spiraling through clouds that had only just been born. The sky is fragile still. Hundun seeks to shatter it. Liang, we must raise the heavens. How? Liang cried. The midnight dragon's eyes gleamed like storm-lit seas. Lift them with your will. The stone in your hand holds the bones of the earth. Strike the sky. Hundun's form twisted, unraveling into a storm of black smoke. He surged upward, claws ripping open the newborn heavens. Stars flickered uncertainly in the void, some winking out under his touch. Liang's heart thudded painfully in his chest. His legs shook, but he rose. He raised the heart of the mountain toward the torn sky. Rise, he shouted. Light shot upward. Pillars of stone stretched into the air, rising higher, higher, until they braced the heavens themselves. The stars steadied. The void shrieked in rage. Hundun's laughter thundered through the pillars. Child, you think to hold the sky against me? Not alone, Liang whispered. The golden dragon flew beneath the cracking heavens, pressing upward with wings of flame. The jade dragon wound around the pillars, strengthening them with emerald light. The midnight dragon soared higher still, its body a storm of lightning, sealing the fractures Hundun had torn. Together, sky and earth held firm. For the first time, Hundun recoiled. Chapter 5: The River of Blood. But chaos is endless. Hundun's form melted again, surging downward like a flood. He smashed into the cliffs Liang had raised, splitting them into canyons. Dark waters poured forth, not rivers of life, but rivers of blood and shadow. The crimson tide surged toward Liang. He stumbled back, but the ground gave way beneath him, and he was thrown into the torrent. The world blurred red. The current dragged him down, pulling him into depths without light. Voices screamed all around him. The cries of souls unborn, the whispers of fear and despair. Drown, mortal! Hundun's voice rumbled through the current. Drown, and the world drowns with you. Liang's lungs burned. His grip on the heart of the mountain loosened as shadowy hands clawed at him, dragging him deeper. His chest ached, vision darkened. Then a roar split the waters. The jade dragon plunged into the flood, scales blazing with green fire. It swept Liang onto its back, carrying him upward. Hold fast, child. Rivers must flow with life, not death. Liang coughed, clutching the heart once more. The jade dragon twisted, dragging its tail through the blood river. Where it touched, the crimson waters hissed and split, and a new path opened. Guide it, Liang, the dragon cried. Shape the river's course. It must know where to flow. Liang thrust the heart downward. The flood bent, carving valleys into the earth. The bloody current hissed, transforming as it coursed into channels of clean, rushing water. The first true river was born. It glittered beneath the newborn sky, surging wide and strong, feeding the land. Grass sprouted along its banks, and the air filled with the scent of life. Hundun screamed, his form scattering into storm and smoke. You cannot bind me with rivers, he howled. Liang raised his head, soaked and shivering, but his voice steady. Maybe not bind you, but I can shape the world around you. Chapter 6, The Dragon's Secret. The battle slowed for a breath. Hundun retreated into the horizon, coiling and seething like a storm waiting to strike again. The land itself sighed, trembling but alive. The three dragons landed near Liang. Their immense forms dwarfed him, but their eyes shone with approval. You learn quickly, said the golden dragon. The mountains rise at your call, the rivers flow at your command. You are more than a witness, you are a shaper. Liang shook his head. I am only a boy. Hundun is endless. How can I fight him? The midnight dragon lowered its face close, lightning crackling across its horns. By knowing what Hundun does not. He is chaos, yes, but he does not create. He only destroys. You hold what he lacks. Liang touched the heart of the mountain. Creation. The jade dragon's voice was gentler. But creation comes at a price. Every mountain, every river, every breath of life. It must be chosen, shaped, protected. Can you bear such a burden? Liang hesitated. The weight of the stone in his hand felt heavier than ever. His heart ached with fear, but he remembered the feel of grass beneath his fingers, the laughter of the river, the sight of stars steadying above. He nodded. I will bear it. The dragons roared, their voices echoing like thunder over the young world. Yet in the distance, Hundun stirred again, darker and larger than before. His laughter carried across the land like a storm of knives. The world grows, he hissed. Then I will break it bigger. And when I consume you, child, all of this will fall. The sky darkened once more. The true battle had only just begun. Chapter 7, The Army of Shadows. The horizon blackened. Hundun rose like a mountain of storm, his form splitting into 1,000 shapes at once. Wolves of smoke, serpents of flame, faceless warriors with burning eyes, all poured forth from his body. The earth shook as the horde descended. Liang gripped the heart of the mountain. His knees trembled, but he stood tall between the rising peaks and the flowing river. The dragons circled above, their roars shaking the heavens. Hundun's voice rumbled like thunder. You build mountains, I will grind them down. You carve rivers, I will poison them. All you create, I will unmake. The golden dragon unleashed a torrent of fire, sweeping across the shadow army. The jade dragon dived low, scattering serpents with coils of emerald light. The midnight dragon summoned storms, lightning ripping through faceless warriors. But still they came. Liang, cried the golden dragon. The earth listens to you. Shape the battlefield. Liang slammed the heart to the ground. Stone rose, splitting into jagged ridges. Valleys opened, swallowing legions of shadow. Yet for every one destroyed, more spilled from Hundun's writhing form. One warrior, taller than the rest, lunged at Liang with a blade of smoke. Liang raised the heart instinctively. The stone flared, shattering the weapon, but the impact knocked him to the ground. The warrior loomed over him, faceless, its hollow eyes burning. "Break him," Hundun whispered through the army. Before the killing blow could fall, the jade dragon coiled around Liang, crushing the shadow warrior beneath its massive body. The dragon's voice was fierce yet calm. "Stand, child. Creation cannot kneel before chaos." Chapter 8: The Mountain's Heartbeat. Liang rose again, chest burning, mind spinning. Fear gnawed at him. Hundun's horde seemed endless, and even the dragons began to slow, their roars ragged, their movements heavy. "Why fight?" Hundun's voice hissed across the battlefield. "This world is fragile. It will never last. Let me end it now. Return to the peace of nothingness." Liang's grip tightened. He pressed the heart of the mountain against his chest. "No," he whispered. The stone pulsed once, twice, then beat in rhythm with his heart. He felt it spread through his body, through the ground beneath his feet, through the mountains and rivers stretching beyond sight. He closed his eyes. He could hear it, the heartbeat of the earth. With a shout, Liang thrust the heart high. The ground answered, rumbling with power. Entire mountain chains erupted upward, splitting the horde of shadows. Rivers surged wider, their currents washing away Hundun's faceless warriors. Grass swept across the valleys. Forests blossomed in the wake of destruction. Life burst forth where chaos struck. The golden dragon laughed, flames blazing brighter. "Yes, boy, the world sings through you." Hundun shrieked, his endless forms scattering under the surge of life. But his core, a swirling mass of storm and eyes, only grew darker. "You dare shape what should be nothing?" Hundun bellowed. "Then I will tear creation from your hands." He surged forward, his true form blotting out the sky. Chapter 9: The Last Stand. The heavens split. Lightning, flame, and shadow clashed as dragons met demon. Hundun's claws raked across the golden dragon's scales, tearing great wounds. The jade dragon was hurled into the mountainside, stone crumbling around its body. The midnight dragon's storms faltered as Hundun's tendrils wrapped around its throat. "No!" Liang cried. He ran toward the chaos, heart of the mountain blazing in his hands. But Hundun's storm struck him, hurling him to the ground. "Stay down, mortal," Hundun hissed, pressing his storm closer. "You are dust. You cannot fight the void." Liang struggled, blood running down his arm, breath ragged. His body screamed for him to yield, but he remembered the warmth of earth, the laughter of rivers, the light of stars, the dragon's faith, and a single truth burned in him. "Even dust," he whispered, "can shape the world." He drove the heart into the ground with all his strength. Light exploded outward. The mountains blazed, rivers surged, forests roared to life. The dragons roared with renewed power, flames, storms, and emerald fire erupting brighter than before. Hundun shrieked as creation itself pressed against him. "No!" he screamed, writhing. "This world cannot stand." But the dragons coiled together, binding Hundun's form in their might. "Witness?" the golden dragon cried. "Finish it!" Liang staggered forward, holding the heart high. He could see Hundun's core, a swirling void of eyes and storm, pulsing with hatred. With all his strength, he thrust the heart into it. Hundun's scream shook the heavens, then shattered into silence. The void collapsed. Hundun was gone. Chapter 10: The Dawn. Silence. The storm faded. The air cleared. The world stood scarred, but alive. Mountains towered proud. Rivers glistened under the newborn sun. Forests stretched green and endless. The sky, steady and vast, glittered with stars. Liang fell to his knees, exhausted. The heart of the mountain dimmed in his hand, its glow fading until it was only stone. The dragons landed beside him, their immense forms now calm, their eyes gentle. "You have done what even gods could not," said the golden dragon. "You shaped chaos into creation," said the jade. "You gave the world its first dawn," said the midnight. Liang looked at the rising sun. Its light spilled across the land, warm and golden. Tears blurred his eyes. "I am only a witness," he said softly. The golden dragon shook its great head. "No, you are more. You are the first guardian of the world." The dragons lifted their wings, their voices blending in one final roar that shook the heavens not with war, but with life. Then, slowly, their massive forms dissolved into light, scattering across the land. Liang stood alone, the sun warming his face, the world stretching endless before him. For the first time, he smiled. Chapter 11: The Wanderer. Days passed. Liang walked across the newborn land, no longer chased by chaos. Everywhere he went, he saw the marks of the battle, mountains carved where his will had struck, rivers winding where blood had once flowed, forests sprouting in the wake of destruction. Life followed him. Birds appeared in the skies, their wings catching the golden dawn. Deer leapt through meadows that had never existed before. Fish glittered in the rivers, darting like silver sparks. The world was no longer silent. It was alive, and yet Liang felt the weight of silence within himself. The dragons were gone. The heart of the mountain, once blazing with fire, now rested cold in his hand. "Am I truly alone?" he murmured to the wind. The wind answered softly, carrying the scent of pine and river spray. "No," Liang whispered with a faint smile. "Not alone. Never alone." He pressed the stone into the earth, leaving it there. Grass curled over it, flowers blooming around it. The heart no longer needed to rest in his hands. It belonged to the land it had shaped. Liang continued walking, no longer just a boy, but the first guardian of creation, a witness to both chaos and dawn. Chapter 12: The Lesson of Dawn. As he wandered, he spoke often to the rivers and mountains, as if they were old friends. Sometimes, when the stars shone brightly, he thought he could hear the dragons' voices echo faintly in the night sky. The golden one's fire, the jade one's calm, the midnight storm. All of them lived on, not in form, but in the world itself. And Liang realized something simple yet profound. Chaos would always exist, could never be destroyed forever. Shadows would always wait at the edges of light. But creation, too, would always rise. Mountains would stand. Rivers would flow. Life would grow. The balance of both was the true story of the world. One night, sitting beside a river that glittered like silver, Liang whispered into the stars. "If I learned one thing, it is this: even the smallest hand can shape the greatest world. Even a boy can stand against the void." The stars flickered brighter, as though they agreed. Moral of the story: every act of creation begins with courage. Even in the face of endless chaos, one voice, one choice, one spark of hope can shape the world. Liang was no god, no warrior of legend, only a boy who dared to stand. And in standing, he gave birth to mountains, rivers, and the very dawn of the world. The story teaches us that even in the smallest heart lies the power to push back against darkness. Creation is not perfect, nor everlasting, but it is always worth fighting for. Author's note: this tale of Liang, the witness of creation, is partly myth, partly invention. It draws on fragments of Chinese cosmogony, the story of Pangu splitting heaven and earth, the presence of Hundun as the spirit of chaos, and the role of dragons as symbols of rivers and natural forces. But much of Liang's journey, his role as the first mortal, and the vivid battles with chaos are works of imagination, blending historical mythology with fantasy adventure. The purpose of this story is not strict historical accuracy, but to offer a journey through time and myth, to let readers feel the birth of the world, the clash of chaos and creation, and the timeless lesson that courage and imagination can shape reality.